Thank you, comrades. I was reconfirming that the program directors are really chasing time. Thank you very much. I want to acknowledge the program directors, Ambassador Mohamed Dango and Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. The Dango, Duarte and Weekly family, His Excellency, our President, Cyril Ramaphosa, President Motlanthe and Mrs. Gugu Motlanthe, the leadership of the African National Congress, from the national officials, the National Executive Committee, the Provincial Executive Committee, led by the provincial officials, the leadership of the South African Communist Party, members of the diplomatic community gathered here to bid farewell to Ambassador Jesse Duarte, our religious leaders, comrades and friends. On behalf of the people and the government of our province, we convey our heartfelt condolences to the family on the passing of our first MEC for Community Safety and Security in Gauteng. The news of her passing reached me on a night that was a terrible one. We were out in the streets of Alexandra with MEC Faith Mazibuko and the police, law enforcement agencies doing anti-crime operations, and were then called to come to the south of Johannesburg, Thembelihle, just next to Lenasia. On that site, 6 people were shot last night. 4 of them succumbed to gunshot wounds. We were working there doing the work that our first MEC would have taught everybody to do with law enforcement. We left there in Thembelihle at 2 o'clock, and by that time we were told there was another shooting at Mutswaledi, informal settlement near Diepkloof, where 8 people were shot. 1 of them passed on. The TG was running around looking for us. I want to say that what Comrade Jesse taught us is that even when it is very tough, we must fight on. The law enforcement agencies in this province have been facing this terrible trend of shootings. We know in Alexandra they have arrested people. In Soweto they will announce arrest in the coming week of those who did the shootings that happened there. 16 people died. We are confident they will also announce arrest in the course of this week of some of these incidents. Our country cannot be taken over by criminals. And I want to assure Comrade Jesse, as we bid farewell to him, to her, our first MEC for community safety, that we shall overcome, we shall win the war against crime. But I want to say 2 other things that were very, very close to Comrade Jesse's heart. So as the first MEC, she was in the front line of the battle against crime. But one thing you can't forget about Jessie Duarte was that she was very passionate about non-racialism. She was deeply, there was no discussion, many of you in the NEC, and I'm sure President, the officials would say so. There was no time you will discuss about the ANC, and she will not draw to our attention the fact that if not regressing, we are actually losing the battle against one of the fundamental principles that informed the struggle for freedom in our country, non-racialism. Even on that, TG, I want to say, as you said, there can be no retreat on that. As we talk about renewal, the work we do everywhere else, this fundamental question that Comrade Jesse would have wanted to be put in the forefront of everything we do, non-racialism is something we must continue to fight for. But Jesse was also, she was passionate about gender equality. Very, very passionate about gender equality. She was a feminist of a special kind. She wouldn't complete a discussion without talking about where the ANC is on women. Like she wouldn't complete a discussion about, but ANC, why are we moving in reverse on non-racialism? Extremely passionate about a non-sexist society, a non-racial society. The third thing she was passionate about, she wanted socioeconomic justice in our country. She wouldn't think we are having any serious discussion if we don't go to the root cause, to the foundational structural issues facing our country. So she was very central to the struggle about the transformation of our country up to that last moment. I want to conclude by speaking on behalf of a generation of students who were beneficiaries of that one work she did. You know, one thing about Jessie is that she crisscrossed every sector of struggle. Women, trade unions, civics, youth. She worked with us as students. I'm one of those students, and one of the students sent me a message that, Premier, we know you are speaking as Premier, but please don't forget. Jessie was very central to, and with Keith Bingle and Dr. Beas Nodie, they mobilized huge resources for bursaries for many students throughout the country, students who went to study in the various campuses, and these were activists, essentially focusing on activists. And as we bid farewell to her, I want to thank her. I want to thank Comrade Jessie, our first MEC for community safety, our ambassador. I had an occasion when she invited me to Mozambique when she was the ambassador there. I had a very good time there with her, and she was introducing me to a lot of Frelimo people there. I want to say to her, Comrade Jessie, there's a generation of young people. They are no longer young anymore, I must confess. No longer too young anymore. A generation of young people who really deeply appreciate what you did for them. Working with Keith Bingle on Dr. Beas Nodie, you sent us to university. You mobilized resources to ensure that we study at those universities, but also we take up the cudgels for the struggle. So on behalf of those students, I want to thank you. And I know that I see many women activists. I don't know whether they are still activists, Sis Daphne. I see many who are sitting here who worked with Jessie left, right, and center. And she leaves this huge imprint in our country. We really, really appreciate what she did for our country. She was a great patriot. One thing I will miss is the phone calls that I had long, I don't know how many of you can't speak with Jessie for a short while. When there's a problem, I would have a long phone call at midnight. And you have to have enough time for her to take you all the troubles and the things she feels. And after that, she says, you know what? You are a good comrade. Comrade Jessie, you were a wonderful comrade, a great comrade. You are still a great comrade to many of us. Thank you very much.